Good morning, this is Kara with the Ministry of Uncovered No More. Do you see what I just did? But do you see what I just got for $2 off? I haven't had breakfast this morning. I've had a cup of coffee, and Curtis and I we're still having to put some things in order because shit gets real. How many of you can say that shit gets real? And that you're having to learn, like Curtis and I are, how to take many vacations, how to get more done for your own private life than it appears that time is going to allow you to have in the next, say, 3 years, if you're just looking out. And he and I are really good at solving that, but if you start to put in the pain that we've experienced going through what we went through the past 14 years, I just told him last night, the past 3 years was like 10 years to me, and I stated in that was in a 3-part YouTube, along with artwork and everything that's on Uncover No More. This is a standalone YouTube blog article, and it's going to go on my new blog, and it's going to go with some artwork with Elizabeth Barrett and Robert Browning. You will not ever hear me call Elizabeth Barrett Elizabeth Browning. And I have reasons for that will come out with that blog. Now, why did I show you this? Because there's several parts to me as far as just anxiety. And if you're 55 in this country and don't start immediately laughing when I say that, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Life in America is it's that way. It's like, oh my God. You know, by the time I was internally crying because I was having to take care of my mother, who tried to run away to San Antonio because she was so ashamed of how much she had hidden from me. And I admitted to Curtis, and Dad just told me to go get her, and Dad was already up above, so I'm not even going to talk about that part of my life. Happy Halloween. So I obeyed my dad, even though he's not there anymore. 48-year Christian, y'all. You give the fuck up. If you've been a Christian at any time in your life, you're dead meat when it comes to not being able to obey your parents, okay? Again, happy Halloween 2021. So I did. I just looked at Curtis and said, I gotta go get Mom. And anyway, that's how complicated my life has been my entire life, okay? And I am definitely not the only 55-year-old Gen X. I've said it many times. Gen X is caught in the middle, okay? But so now you're finding out that I finally figured out how to YouTube something to go on a blog article with a brand new blog where I am featuring a huge book. And I can tell you which book is coming next after this huge book. Letters and Poetry, Elizabeth Barrett, Robert Browning. But the title of the hardcover book is The Brownings. And I'm Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovered No More. 55-year-old woman saying, fuck that. It's Elizabeth Bennett and Robert Browning. They wouldn't have gotten together and had that gorgeous 15 years in Italy if no, you don't get that without both of them being individuals. And it's 11:11. And so I say all of that to say, I dropped soy sauce on my pants, okay? But I wouldn't be having this moment because I'm going to go to my coffee shop for my Sunday morning in a minute. But I needed to eat because I just needed to eat. And I'm trying to lose weight, but that's a 5-year thing going on because I've already successfully lost a lot of weight after 10 pregnancies and all of that. That's another blog article. But Barrett Browning's, there's a love there that is universal. I'm just reading the letters, and these two are blowing me away on a regular basis. And I didn't know about that as far as picking up a living book. Like the Bible is supposed to be, but it's not. You should have heard the conversation Curtis and I had today, because I basically said, the entire Bible is apostate. And Curtis is still a Christian. And he was just looked at me like, technically that's not accurate. And we were laughing. So, keep in mind, Curtis and I are house church executives. Okay? I ain't seeing anybody coming to our house going, could you please house church for us in this big church? You two know how to house church. When I was writing books that are now out of print because the whole Republican bullshit thing spun out to an actual criminal being in the White House in January of 2017, well, that's when my publisher went under. And if you don't think those two things are connected, then, just leave. because I'm tired of you. If you don't understand how some of the things that happened to me as the ministerial head of Uncovered No More, Beaty-Coffey, if you don't understand that some things were timed a particular way, and it had to do with how I was fighting the politics of the Christian church according to the book of Revelation, if you haven't figured that out about this woman right here, sitting there right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of Austin, Texas, then go bury your head in a good fiction book. Ignore the politics, die your way. Okay. Excuse me. Here's an observation. I'm still raising 10 kids. Until that last puppy or kitty turns 18, you got to be on as the parent, okay? When Curtis and I are realizing, fuck the shit. We do need to learn how to take small vacations. And that's what I was going to say. See, I couldn't go see my daughter Margaret graduate because I was taking care of Mom. And you just got the whole story about how I'm immortal and my dad can actually talk to me and I still obey my dad. It's like, Dad, gum. Why can't I fucking rebel? The proper way, like some teens get to do. I don't know. I don't have any answers for that. It takes all of us. That's all I know. Okay? But some of you guys and gals have it easier than some of us. Okay? Let's just admit that. And you're like, what the fuck? Why did you even fucking have 10 kids if you were going to say that? Well, you know what? You don't care if you're saying that to me. I care. And I can meet people like you, whoever you are, that don't, you don't know what to do with people like me. I can see your value. Most people don't see the value of somebody like me. That's been true my whole life. We're just there to be used. You can take my word for that or not, but this is America, and we ain't making any sense right now. I make sense. On the ground and on my blogs, I make sense. If you don't like that, go forget about me, please. Took a lot of courage for me to just do my thing this morning. There's a ton of chores that need to be done. This is 2021, y'all. You don't ask a child who's been through the kind of stuff my kids have been through to do chores without a tremendous amount of why do I have to do that and why do I have to do it right now? Post-Christian kids been hurt. Those are millennials and Gen Z. And what's more, they'll bite the hand that brought them into the world. And they'll keep doing it. I don't know the fuck why. Go ask a therapist about that. I really don't know why kids behave the way they do in this day and age. Anyway, here's what I've got to say to millennials and Gen Z. I tried just admitted some of my immortality. I told Curtis, just to let you know how I'm talking to the baby boomer and the baby boomer's talking to me. I told Curtis some time ago, I think it was a big old mistake that I went ahead and went and got Mom. Let her die with her people. But there's Dad standing right there going, Kara, that's your mama. Get over there and get her. So I did. And I got the scars to prove it. Dang. But I just want to say to all of y'all, just like I said to Curtis about a day and a half ago, he's finally realizing, oh my God, Kara really does have abilities that I'm understanding better now, which is fun for us, but we're still dealing with Gen Z. And Gen Z needs to snap out of it. And that's where I'm going with this, because I'm going to do artwork with Elizabeth Bennet and Robert Browning, and I'm going to do it the way it needs to be done, because there's a love back there in the 1800s that never fails. And that couple exemplifies it and had 15 years of paradise. But the sad part of it is he had to save her from the daddy because of the way the daddy was being. If you hadn't figured it out yet, that's still going on in Christianity and probably the Muslim world and probably some of the Indian structure. Indian people, Asian people. There's a lot of control. There's a lot of control. All you youth that get free of the control, you need to go back home and you need to nurture that which helped you get out and stayed in it. And that would be Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovering the More. Okay? And good many others. Curtis is one of them. Again, why some local church isn't coming to our house and saying we need, Wednesday night small group, and you guys are executives. Shit, we'll pay you. We'll put you on the payroll to house some people. You want executives? You can hire me. I ain't gonna be the pastor's secretary, but I'll start up house churches all over this place, and I'll put it to a big church. I'll link it to a big church. No fucking big deal. I'll oversee that. I should be able to draw a salary of at least $80,000 a year from the Christian church after what you've put me through. Oh my God. And full benefits. I can run your house, your Wednesday night house church meetings. I can get in there and anoint with oil and throw rooms and do all kinds of things. But I don't want to lead your small one. I'll blow it up. People will drop dead. Now, you want the honest truth. I'm telling you the honest truth. And that's the part that Curtis is finally going, okay, this is real. And that's where I'm going to tell you. See, I heard my mother's family where my mama was concerned. I went and got her, cleaned that whole situation up. My kids have stories. Oh my God. They forced a last family reunion on the property, shit like that. Okay? My kids just had to get in there and support me. It was awful. It was awful. It was painful. And my kids don't even know what to do, how to deal. Seriously. My mother's family, all they do is say, you're Kara's kid. That's all. That they didn't even want to get to know my kids. You're Kara's kids. That's all that my kids got. They literally have no relatives except for themselves because of how ugly people have treated not only me but my daddy, who told me to go get my mother, and his body wasn't on the it wasn't there. Yeah, I know. Whew, Harry Potter, 5001. Okay. You Gen millennials and Z, you need to can it. You need to admit you got people still stuck, but we got you out. You need to can your attitude, and you don't need to do it religiously, but you need to do it. And here's what I'm going to say to you. Here's my sermon from the sofa on a Sunday to the kids. Millennials and Gen X. Millennials and Gen Z. Gen X and baby boomers, I talk to you different when I need you to straighten up, because you are just fucking done. I'm done. If you're a diehard Republican, I'm definitely done. State of Texas. It's like, I want Ann Richards back, okay? Okay. So, I really see this as a truth, and I'm gonna art it in a little book I have. It's a unicorn. It's real cute. And I'll throw a rune for it. See what kind of discipline you're supposed to have. Young people, what you need to do 24/7, 365 is stop running from the pain, the guilt. Now, if the older generations are actively, molestation, stuff like that, actual criminal behavior, that's a different story. I'm not talking about. There's millions of us that been belched out of the churches. We don't know what to do anymore, but we do probably believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and are saved, and lots of people have figured out he's around here somewhere on the earth core, and all that. And I feel kind of what I get a lot of is self-conscious, and I don't blame that. I understand that. Self-consciousness around people who are dealing with the actual King of Kings is a normal emotion that we are more than willing to put up with. It's when we get fought in the process of bringing him into reality, it's actually the other way around. He's bringing us into reality that's been developing throughout all of history, and which is awesome thought, but we got to focus. And Gen Z, you can lead millennials here, serve the elder brother and sister, okay? How you're going to do that? The greatest temptation of young people is to cave into guilt and to pain that they watch everybody go through in these processes I'm laughing about, not crying about anymore. And to stand with the righteous people like me and Curtis. You just need to stand. Let us get us through this, because it does take the wisdom of the older generations to get us through this. And we've got your back. I've had actual private conversations with children. One in particular who's ADD. Beautiful, beautiful giftings, ADD. But can be very demanding and very verbally negative and abusive, actually, and doesn't want to acknowledge it. That's ADD. They have a hard time making eye contact, much less understanding the social dilemmas that we face, even privately. Yes, Mom, I know you protected me, but I can do it now, and I believe her, but she doesn't like it that there are some schisms in her relationship to me where I still can't trust her. I was a good liar. My parents got me out of it. Well, she is a good liar. If you've read around about ADD, and she's not doing that. She really, truly is not doing that. She's grown up. I mean, she's very mature. So I don't think I'm saying she's lying. She's not. But she's had people judge her all her life. And siblings in my family turned against each other, but they've pulled out. They're saying, we don't want to be like my mother, Grandma Klonick's siblings said we don't want to be like that. And that's good. I was glad to hear that they they agreed. No, we're not doing this. Because in a way, all 10 of them were saying, Mom's in too much pain. We can fix this for her and for ourselves. And I see all 10 of them doing that in different ways. And that's beautiful, and I appreciate my children for their strength. But I'm going to speak to millennials and Gen Z particularly and say, lead us out. Let the younger lead the older. That's in the Old Testament of the Bible that Curtis jokingly was saying. Kara, technically you're not allowed to say that it's apostate. It's like, I know. Shit. Because Christians are, and the Constitution's not much different where the Republicans are concerned. They're just using the Constitution as toilet paper when they go poo. Boys and girls. Dad gum. What the fuck? Okay. So, stay in the pain of that transition that we all came through together. Book of Exodus is a good example. Stay in the pain. When the big old archangel man named the King of Kings comes in and says, look, here's the promised land. Don't do what they did. And then had to go back into the wilderness, right? Okay, we do need to learn those ancient lessons in 2021. Where a lot of us that are Gen X are mourning right now is some of the breakthroughs that we are actually seeing on the federal level should have been seen at the time of Martin Luther King Jr., of Malcolm X, and of John F. Kennedy. Should have been seen. I was just being warned. And they're not. And that means there's a long-suffering faithfulness that we are entering into. And I'm Gen X. And you know who I am. And I'm telling you, the one decision I made 14 years was stay in the pain. I can't figure this out. I can do what I can do. I lost a lot. But when I go back, the faithfuls are there. That's my testimony to you this morning. And I'm going to apply some love messages from the Brownings, their letters and poetry book that I'm using on one of my sites. I'm going to put some love messages in there in this. It's so gorgeous. I'm going to have to just do it micro step at a time. Let's take micro steps together, shall we? Every change towards our dwelling in holistic paradise is worth it, my loves. It was worth it for me to have a little bit, $2 off. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to go to my other church, and I'm going to walk in there with this. An old-time church, Kara said, why don't you have that change of clothes in the back so you don't have to walk into Monkey's Nest with that spot? And you know what? I'm going to walk in there with that spot and love it that I have that spot. I do worry a little bit that I can get it home and put some spray and wash on it and get the spot out for the next time, because I don't want to have to buy this pair of jeans again. This is my favorite color of blue jeans. So there you have it. Stay in the pain. Keep being faithful. And I'll close with, this was an interactive song list yesterday. It blew me away, so I'm kind of listening to it a lot. David Guetta, The Whisperer, featuring Sia. And it isn't a listen again. I have it in my iMusic. It's a listen again album. Oh yes, we're going to listen again and again and again. And we're going to enjoy the fact that we all have different listen, but the response is going to be universal. We all have different listen, but the response is going to be universal today and forevermore. Amen.